Thanks very much, Liam. On a 57-degree evening in Toronto, they are going wild in Maple Leaf Square. The Stanley Cup playoffs on TNT Sports are presented by Geico. Game 7, Maple Leafs Panthers. Leafs looking to reverse a trend. They have dropped their last 6 Game 7s. We are underway in Toronto. Tanev up the boards. Marner looking to get it through to Matthews. Backhand shot by Barkov. Turned aside by Woll. Barkov on the puck. Met by Tanev. Matthews over to help. And Marner clears the zone. Took a hit from Reinhart. Both teams made quick changes.
You can feel all the hurts here in Scotiabank Arena. Missed a couple of beats there, Bush, when that puck popped out to the front of the net. Looked like the Panthers had a 3-on-0 right in front of Joseph Woll. I don't think the puck ever got to the net.
I don't think Woll saw it either.
Here comes Tavares. Looking to get it through to Holmberg. What
a play by Forsling. Knocked that puck out of midair with his left hand.
Here's Ekblad into the Leaf zone. Blocked aside by Woll. Maple Leafs won the first 2 games of this series. Panthers took the next 3. Ekblad missing wide, looking for the redirect.
Chuck just missed that redirect in front.
Now back out to Ekblad from Matthew Tkachuk, who has not scored in the last 8 Panthers games. For Hagee, keeps it alive. Picked off in front by Carlo. Now Holmberg, stepped into by Ekblad. Kept in the zone. Tkachuk, shot was blocked. Ekblad to the far side. It's Forsling. Minute and a half in, Game 7. Just off the bench, Dmitry Kulikov for Florida. Leaned on by Holmberg. In behind the net for Hagee, comes out in front. Puck played by Brad Marchand. This is his 5th Game 7 against the Maple Leafs. Got by Kulikov, blocked by Nylander, and deflected.
Settling into this game, obviously the Panthers with a little bit more jump. I think it's critical that Woll gets off to a good start in this Game 7.
4th line on the ice for the Leafs. Marchand turns, shoots, knocked aside by Woll. Lundell in behind the net. Puck now played by Lorentz, the former Panther. Here comes Benoit. In on goal. Knocked behind the net by Bobrovsky. Kept alive by Lorentz. Scott Lawton. Lorentz with it. Now Kulikov for the Panthers. Held up by Yarncrook. Panthers come out and Schmidt. Chance of goal, Leafs goal here at Scotiabank Arena. Maple Leafs have not gone to the conference final since 2002. Max Pacioretty over to play the puck, scored the 2nd Toronto goal in Game 6. Here's Greer, carries in deep. 4th line on the ice for Florida, shot by Seth Jones, blocked by McCabe. And a terrific play by Pacioretty to move it out of the zone. Here comes Mikkola, straight. All time it was Max Domi. Domi and Pacioretty have had success in prior Game 7s throughout their career. Now Carlo, around to Morgan Riley. Just over 3 minutes gone. Ekblad keeps it alive. Barkov across, standing on it was Reinhart. Puck now played by Barkov. Evan Rodriguez. Out to Aaron Ekblad, deflects wide. Reinhart got a stick on it. Barkov tried to feed the point. Puck cleared out of the zone. And now Barkov back across. In with a shot. And a save by Woll. Matthews on it for the Leafs. Shots on goal, 3-1 in favor of Florida. Benoit couldn't get it deep. Here's Sam Bennett.
I think that puck went off of Nyes. That's why it did not enter the zone.
Benoit with it for Toronto. Up the boards and out. Mikkola flips it ahead. Bennett. Bennett winds it around for Hagee in pursuit. Seth Jones plays the puck. Jones now slides it across for Mikkola. Dropped by Mikkola, blocked in front.
That's the 7th block so far for Toronto.
They have 31 in Game 6.
Well, they're on pace for about 200 right now if they don't get the puck going on their stick.
Now for Hagee. Part of her Hagee shot. There's another block. That time Benoit.
Nobody knows where the puck is.
Mikkola finds it. left pad stop by Wool. Kept alive by Seth Jones. Good puck possession once again in the Maple Leaf zone. Puck comes out into the slot, and it's poked away by Larson from Verhaeghe, and then cleared out of the zone. Nicola with it once again.
Another long shift for John Tavares and his trio.
Matthew Tkachuk tried to spin it out in front. Shot by Verhaeghe. Puck is loose in front of the crease. And now it's skated out of trouble. Here's McCabe. Forced away by Lundell. Here's Marchand. Marchand met by Lawton. Luostarinen comes in. Lawton lost it. Flipped towards the net by Lundell, and it's held out to by Wool.
They don't have to turn to Stolarz, but an interesting development that Stolarz is back.
Entered during game one. They have taken the Maple Leaf shot off the board. The shot attempts are 18-0 over the first 5.5 minutes in favor of the Florida Panthers. Most of the play has been in the Maple Leaf zone. Puck comes out to Nate Schmidt. Schmidt fires it back around. Polo.
Then you talk about the shot attempts. I mean, at least 5 or 6 of those were directly off of mishandled by the Leafs trying to exit their zone.
It was the Leafs who got off to the terrific start on the road in Game 6. Role reversal so far tonight. Here's Reinhart. Reinhart dropping it off to Rodriguez. Now McCabe and Reinhart kept alive by Barkov. Now Tanev in as well. Matthews knocked to the ice. Barkov with the puck. Out to the point. Forsling. Now Ekblad with a shot. Save and covered by Wool. Face off controlled by the Panthers. Seth Jones. Down low Barkov. Now Reinhart. Taken away by Marner. Maple Leafs looking for their first shot attempt. Cleared up the boards by Jones.
They just got to get the puck in the offensive zone. They just can't even do that right now.
There's Barkov. Flips it back out. Past Rodriguez. Marner cutting over.
A good keep by Nico on those boards. Knocked that puck out of midair.
Now the Maple Leafs with possession. We've played just over 7 minutes. Both teams make changes. Florida Panthers defending Stanley Cup champs. They've been to the final each of the last 2 seasons. A look at the odds from DraftKings Sportsbook.
Good hit. Benoit and Bennett on Benoit.
And then Bennett on Ekman Larson. Puck flipped out by Tavares. Takes the return pass. And then poked off his stick by Gustav Forsling. Delayed offside Maple Leafs.
That's that great stick by Forsling again.
Here's Verhaeghe. Waits. Blocked by Riley. Puck out of play.
The chips were on the line, and he said, look, going into that particular game, he was super nervous. And one of the trainers for the Boston Bruins told him, said, hey, be a difference maker. And that's kind of where he took his step and got some help from the legendary Cam Neely, the president of the Bruins as well, of just saying, hey, what's the worst thing can happen? You lose and you go home, you try it again next year. He has stepped up in a large, large way.
Spending zone time once again for the Panthers. Shot by Kulikov, missed the net high. Puck played by Marchand out to the point. Schmidt. Now Kulikov. There's another shot block. Moritz. And he picks up the puck with Yarncroke. Moves it down into the Florida zone. Kulikov back to retrieve. Kulikov bothered by Yarncroke.
30 seconds with that puck being in the zone.
Now the steal by McCabe, and then he stepped into by Kulikov.
That's how much offensive zone time the Leafs have had so far in this first period.
Wow. Puck moved in deep by Domi.
McGreer might have got away with one there on McMahon.
Dropped by Nosek. And the puck into the netting.
In the neutral zone.
Well, we talked to Scott Block for the Maple Leafs this morning, and he said back in the series change in Game 3 because Florida's defense were doing just that, and they got to their game.
Up by Jones. Deflects wide. Matthews over for the Leafs. Puck moved to the boards by Marner. Carries out through the neutral zone. Now Matthews. Matthews looks to cut to the inside. Nicola stayed with him. One set ahead by Rodriguez. Kept in by Ekman Larsson. Here's Nyes. Nice move. Nyes with the Leafs. Best attempt to this point over the first 9.5 minutes.
Just missed the net after going backhand, forehand. And then a big hit by Matthews along those near boards on Reinhart.
Now Bennett clears the zone. McKay back for the Leafs. One set ahead by Riley. And then deflected in by Pacioretty. Bobby McMahon. Now Domi with it. Look to center for Pacioretty. McMahon keeps it alive along the wall for Domi. Out in front! Off the stick of Pacioretty. Now Forsling just past the midway point. First period, Game 7 in Toronto. Matthew Tkachuk. Bennett chasing with Carlo. Bennett centering pass. Blocked off by Domi. Riley over to settle it down. Now Carlo, the longtime Boston Bruin. Puck set out of the zone by Domi. Played by Kulikov. Shots on goal, 7-0. Favor of Florida. What a start for the Panthers. But unable to beat Joseph Woll. Kulikov with the puck. Now Schmidt. Here comes Marchand. Lost the handle. And throws one across. Picked up by Nylander. Lundell hustling back. Nylander missing the net. Ekman Larsson holds it in.
Two quality chances. Both times the Leafs have missed the net. Nylander and Nyes.
There's Benoit with a drive. Ekman Larsson out at the right point. Holmberg. Nicola comes over. Now Nylander. Puck in the corner. Nylander keeps it alive. Nylander into the slot. Puck shot across. Oh, Nylander robbed by Bobrovsky.
Time to get some looks.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Here's Ekman Larsson for Craig Berube's Maple Leafs. Matthews looking to get it through to Nyes. Rodriguez couldn't clear. Bounces away from Nyes. Marchand moves the puck in deep. Marchand and Ekman Larsson. Rodriguez bumped by Matthews. Jeff Jones steps up. Markov and Matthews. Matthews comes away with the puck. We heard from Craig Berube. He has won 2 of 3 Game 7s as a head coach. Both wins during the St. Louis Blues run to the Stanley Cup in 2019. Here's Lorentz. Nice move on Ekblad. Take it down. Play continues. Long. Out to the point, Tanev. Out of the reach of Forsling.
Line for Toronto played really well in Game 6.
Thusly Lawton centering pass. Puck is loose. And Bobrovsky
Sure slow him down, but these last couple shifts have been encouraging for the Leafs.
Face-off win by Tavares. Riley.
All starts with their defense.
Now Holmberg poked away by the goal stick of Bobrovsky. Marchand puts the puck ahead. Here's Lundell. Blocked by Carlo. Carlo moves it up the boards, out of the zone. Sent back by Forsling. Now Holmberg for the Leafs. The late offside. Maple Leafs Panthers scoreless. Kenny Albert, Eddie Olczyk, Brian Boucher, Jackie Redmond. Here comes Backstolby with Pacioretty.
Good stick there, Schmidt. Prevented a 2-on-1.
Pacioretty back up top, Tanev. Now McCabe straight away. Puck loose in front. McMahon looking for it. Saved by Bobrovsky.
That was Pacioretty that got a stick on it.
Here's McCabe. Now Tanev. Back to McCabe. Thought was blocked. Comes down behind the net to McMahon. Now Greer throws it up the boards, down into the Maple Leaf zone. It's a Panthers icing.
Tanev must have touched that puck or not have been an icing, and that's why the faceoff ends up at center ice.
Benoit winds the puck around. Rodriguez in on the forecheck, along with Reinhart. Here's Matthews for Nyes. Faced by Marner. Marner slides it across. Bobrovsky again. Got the stick on it, kept it away from Ekman-Larsson.
Boy, that stick has been active for Bobrovsky. Not afraid to get it out to the handle and use the whole length of the stick to break up plays. On a jam play, he did it earlier. And this awareness with that stick for Bobrovsky.
As an offensive player, when you know a goaltender.
Here comes Lawton, moving it on Bobrovsky, who makes the stop. 6. Here is Carlo at the flex wide. Riley towards the net, backhand shot, but Banner other chance. Puck settled down by Tkachuk. Out with pass Bennett into the Toronto zone. Sam Bennett's shot gets blocked down the puck.
Poke checking like that, it gives you something to think about as a forward. So sometimes you maybe want to hurry your shot, but if you can't anticipate it and he slides down like that, there's going to be a lot of room up top.
Here's for Hagee. Shot blocked by McCabe. Tanev and Tkachuk battle for the puck. Here's Sam Bennett. Back around. Tanev cuts it off. Tkachuk keeps it alive. Now for Hagee. Connor Verhaeghe shot blocked by McCabe and rolls all the way down into the Panthers' end.
13 blocks for the Leafs.
Picking up where they left off in Game 6. Marchand backhands in. Ekman-Larsson and Rodriguez. Here's Marchand, cuts away from Matthews. Matthews stays with him. Excellent defensive play by Matthews. Jones kept the puck in. Rodriguez to the net. Knocked off his stick. After Nyes couldn't clear the puck out. And now a glove save by Wool on Rodriguez.
I think a high flip there will keep Jones home. You start high flipping it, there's no way he's coming across. That'll keep him back a little bit. Set it up with a couple of high flips, and then maybe as the game wears on, those cross-ice plays can happen.
Now Lawton finds the rinse and with a shot, and that's stopped by Bobrovsky.
One of those clean exits out of the zone straight ahead.
That's 3 odd man rushes for the Leafs here in the first period. Kulikov with a hit on McMahon. Domi looking for the puck.
Those odd man situations have come probably all in the last 7 minutes.
There's McMahon out to Morgan Riley. Carlo with a shot. That's scooped up by Bobrovsky. Matthews and Reinhart. Puck set up the boards, held in by Nyes. Now it's Tanev for Matthews. Shoots. Bobrovsky the stop. Panthers have the first 7 shots on goal. The Maple Leafs have the last 7. Marchand comes away with the puck. That one hits the netting.
The focus that's needed in this Game 7.
Yeah, the discipline, right?
Yeah.
Forsling couldn't get it deep. Morgan Riley up the middle, deflected in by Tavares. Played at center by Riley. Into the left with Bobrovsky. Brings it around for Ekblad, and now Matthew Tkachuk. Rink wide pass off the sticker for Hagee. Sent back into the Panthers zone where Forsling retrieves. Maple Leafs went for a change. 2.5 remaining. First period in Toronto. Here's Matthews, hemmed in by Tkachuk. Matthews finds Benoit. Benoit skates it out.
Good effort there by Benoit.
I like that. Get going north, get moving your feet to escape the pressure.
Matthews took a run at Mikkola. Almost too many men on the ice there for the Leafs. They got it. Morning. Guys kind of looking at the puck, protecting it, having some fun with it. Just let it go when you got the chance.
Here's Ekblad on the pass from Jones. Too many men fall on the Maple Leafs.
Oh, what a keep in by Jones after Reinhart broke his stick.
Barkov keeps it alive along the wall, taken away and cleared by Matthews. Rush penalty killers on for the Leafs. 30 seconds gone by the penalty. Look at the Geico players on the ice at the bottom of your screen. Here's Reinhart for Ekblad. Around to the far side, Tkachuk. Nobody covering out at the left point.
A couple of D-men out here on this power play unit. Number 1 unit.
Jones. Jones dropping it back. Here's Reinhart. Reinhart. Now Seth Jones. Kachuk waits. Kachuk with it once again. Watched by Carlo and Nyes. Puck deflects to the near wall. Ekblad is out of there. Kachuk with under a minute to go in the period. Stick beside by Wall. Here's Ekblad. Back around for Kachuk. "35 seconds remaining on the power play for the Panthers. Barkov backs it up. Here's Barkov once again. Out for Jones, a shot saved. Kachuk looking for the rebound. It's loose. Comes back out to Jones. 30 seconds to go in the period. Save made by Wall. And it is cleared by Yardbrook. Penalty time winding down. First period as well. Sam Bennett through the crease. Holmberg out of the box. Penalty expires. And the first period comes to an end in Toronto.
Reason as to why they were standing around watching a lot of that first half of the first period, but a good response in the second. I think the nerves should be gone now, settle into a pretty good hockey game.
Shot attempts 36-17 in favor of the Panthers.
Now Chris Rooney holding his face. Some contact in the corner.
He's bleeding profusely.
So Garrett Rank replaces Chris Rooney. Matthews up against Barkov. Nicola winds it around. Sam Reinhart comes out of the Panthers zone. Knocked down with the glove by McCabe. Panthers touched it net. No hand pass. Here's McCabe. Up by Barkov. Puck deflects out of the zone.
Marner made the good play with the pinching Nicola.
Seth Jones up the middle off the stick of Rodriguez. Here's Carlo for the Maple Leafs. It's an icing. There's Kachuk, another shot block. Ekblad fires, saved by Woll, cleared out by Marner. Forsling back to retrieve. Look at the odds from DraftKings Sportsbook. The hustle by for Hagee, so the icing is waved off. Here's Bennett. Puck taken away by Carlo. Out to Barris. Holberg hustling in. Ekblad next man to the puck. And now for Hagee. Deflected by Nylander.
That was a good read there by Ekblad, helping out his partner Forsling.
Puck bounces it to the right of Bobrovsky. Forsling slides it onto the stick of Bennett. And now Aaron Ekblad. Here's Carter for Hagee. Bennett couldn't play the puck. Marchand does, shoots it wide. Lorentz. Back for Benoit. Played at center by Schmidt. Benoit has some trouble with it. Lundell with the pressure. Here is Marchand, knocked off his stick. Kept in by Schmidt. Up to Larson. Gets it away to Marchand. Marchand back out for Kulikov. Kulikov with a shot. That missed the net. And now a save by Woll. Gadjovich. Benoit up the boards, not out. Kept alive by Kulikov, and now it bounces out to center. Yardbrook with it for the Leafs.
2 turnovers by Benoit. Quality looks for the Panthers.
Schmidt's pass cut off by Tanev. Here's Domi. Pacioretty chasing with Kulikov. Kulikov with a hit. On Matt Pacioretty, who then is able to play the puck. Out to Tanev. And then across to McCabe. McCabe blocked by Gadjovich. He clears. Carlo with it for the Leafs. Gives it away to Nosek. Here is A.J. Greer with a shot, and that's close. At the Maple Leafs logo. There's Carlo up the boards. Barkov, long shot, misses the net. Wide to the left. Nicola pitching. Now it's Nyes. Nyes for Matthews. Marner on his right. Marner back out to the point. Stopped by Carlo, did not get through. Barkov clears the zone to Rodriguez. And now Seth Jones moving in, shoots, scores! 1-0 Panthers as Seth Jones beats Joseph Woll.
What a pass by Evan Rodriguez. Here's Rodriguez. Here comes Jones. And then the 2-on-1 goes from there. Watch this pass. Great pass. 2-on-1. Carlo's got to respect the pass over to Reinhart. He leaves the shooter for the goaltender. And the defenseman throws it far side.
Well, there's the activity of the Florida defense. We showed it defensively. Now it's offensively. Jones getting underneath that play, being an option for Rodriguez. A heck of a play, as you pointed out, Edzo, under pressure, and a perfectly placed shot to the far side over the blocker of Woll.
Teams that score first have won 75% of the Game 7s in NHL history, but this year, 0 for 2.
What a shot by Jones off the crossbar and in. And the one thing I love what he does, he doesn't stay outside. He recognizes that they're taking away the passing lane. So he enters and gets inside the face-off dots. And he just throws an absolute dart right over the far shoulder, the right shoulder of Joseph Woll. And goes bar down.
Not an easy shot to make. I mean, to me as a goaltender, I'm worried about short side with that right-hand shot because he's on the outside. When he drags it to the middle edge zone, that's when the far side opens up. Not an easy spot to hit, though, with the shaft of the stick of the goaltender. I mean, to put it in that spot, just a heck of a play there by Jones.
The only thing I would say about Carlo is I would like to see him just kind of make it look like he was going to stay more in the middle there, Bush, instead of just, leaving right away.
But he peeled off a little quick. He was getting help from Marchand coming down the weak side. I think he could have held his spot in the middle of the ice a little longer and not give that open lane for Jones.
Rodriguez and Barkov the assists. Shot by Lundell. Now Marchand picks up the puck for Florida. In front, looking for Luostarinen. Now Kulikov. Over to Schmidt. Marchand back with it for Florida. Cross-ice pass off the stick of Schmidt. Now Luostarinen shoots. That's blocked. Marchand back out to the point for Mikkola. Bounces out in front. And Nylander will pick up the loose puck. 1-0 lead for the Florida Panthers. Here comes Nylander moving in 1-on-3 with a shot. Blocker down by Bobrovsky. Picked up by Nosek. And now it's Schmidt. 5 minutes gone, second period. Nosek with it for the Panthers. Now Domi chips it up the boards. Turned back by Seth Jones. Now Morgan Riley. Held it at the line by Forsling. 1-1. Sent back along by Jones. Seth Jones, the second member of his family to be involved in a Game 7 today. His dad, Popeye, an assistant coach with the Denver Nuggets. They lost Game 7 to Oklahoma City. But his son, Seth, has given the Panthers a 1-0 lead here in Toronto. And Tanev pressured. Barkov was in on the forecheck. Pass was behind Matthews, played by Nyes, fires in. Ekblad, set by Matthews. Held in by Nyes.
Good back check there by Nyes, keep the play alive.
Now it's Martin. Ekblad behind the Florida goal. Puck deflects down into the Maple Leaf zone. 1-0 Panthers. They are out shooting the Maple Leafs 11-8. Here's McMahon. No teammate in the vicinity. Back the other way, it's Bennett. Domi with a big hit on for Hagee. Here's McMahon. Deflected along by Pacioretty. Chased by Domi. Domi. Sold it off the puck by Bennett. Now for Hagee. Tanev back. For Hagee waiting for teammates. Around to the far side for Marchand. Now Tavares over to play the puck. Gets it ahead for Riley. Pacioretty in on goal. Bobrovsky quickly ahead to Lundell. Now Marchand. Marchand shoots, saved by Wall. Rebound comes out. Lundell around for Marchand, and now Mikkola.
Marchand's been all over it his last couple of shifts.
Saved by Wall. Score! 2-0 Florida. What a shift for Brad Marchand and the Panthers. And the Florida Panthers have taken a 2-0 lead as Lundell banged it home.
The last two shifts, Brad Marchand has won every race. He has won every puck battle. And here he moves his puck from low to high. He becomes available. He fires it at the net. A big rebound, and Lundell just buries it. But getting pucks to the net, people there. Big rebound out in front of the net, and no chance for Wolf.
A couple things stand out to me on this play, Edzo. Initially, Max Pacioretty's dump in. He dumps it in on Bobrovsky. That allows Bobrovsky to play the puck and keep the play alive. Keep it away from Bobrovsky. He throws it up ice, and the Panthers go the other way. I thought the initial shot was a tough rebound for Woll to leave. Now, the one after that, it was redirected in front of him by Luostarinen, and that's why he couldn't control the rebound. But a couple of mistakes there. Pacioretty's got to keep it away from Bobrovsky when he dumps it in.
Panthers looking for more. Backhand shot by Rodriguez, blocked by Tanev. 2 goals, 4 minutes, 3 seconds apart. Seth Jones, and then Anton Lundell. Here's Marner, met by Mikkola. Bouncing puck, sent along by Barkov. 12 minutes remaining. Second period, the Florida Panthers with a 2-0 lead. Now Marner finds Matthews. Eyes on his right. Matthews in with a shot, and that's blocked by Ekblad. Verhaeghe bumped by Benoit as he shoots in. Yardcroak around for Carlo. Mark held in by Verhaeghe. Knocked out by Lawton. Luostarinen and Marchand with the assists on the Lundell goal. There's Lawton centering pass.
What a stick there by Ekblad. Lorentz looked like he was going to have a one-timer. Another good play by Scott Lawton. But Ekblad was able to defend.
Here's Morgan Riley. Cut off by Marchand. Now Smith to the far side. Marchand in a collision with Carlo, longtime teammates in Boston.
Marchand's hurt as he heads back to the bench, wincing in pain.
Here's Luostarinen. Luostarinen around to the far side. Played by Nosek. Back around the other way. Mikkola steps up. Now Riley. Skated ahead by Tavares. Up the boards. Cut off by Jones. Panthers stay onside. Here's Greer. Kicked out by Woll. Greer slides it across. Score! Gadjovich makes it 3-0 Florida.
This play is very close to being offside here. There was a turnover as the puck left the zone. The puck's going to come out of the zone. Stop it here. This is the goal scorer here. Jones is going to get this puck. Does he get back over that blue line before this puck completely crosses? Stop it. It looks like it's offside there, Bush. He's on his way back. Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it.
Yeah, you got to go back a little further.
Does he get back and tag up?
No.
Well, hold on.
He doesn't touch the
He
puck.
does, but he doesn't touch the
Touch the
puck,
puck,
as
touch
it
the
goes
puck. Exactly.
as it goes over the zone.
Exactly.
As it crosses the blue line, that allows him to get back onside Gadjovich.
That's right.
That's what happened.
Right, we saw that on a play involving.
See if the Leafs can respond.
There's Mikula, leaned on by Yarncroke. Tanev over to pick up the puck. 3 second-period goals for the Florida Panthers in the span of 6 minutes, 24 seconds. Seth Jones for the goal and an assist. Lundell and Gadjovich, the other goal scorers, so goals from the third and fourth lines. Here's Lorentz, bouncing puck, couldn't get it through. Benoit back in his own zone. 9.5 to play, second period. Carolina awaits the winner. Here's Domi. Back the other way, Bennett with Tkachuk. Here's Bennett, look to pull the string. Great defensive play, Benoit. And then he's tripped by Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe in with a shot. Barons around to the right point for Ekblad. Now Carter Verhaeghe. Centering pass. Still no whistle. Wall is down. Puck behind the net. Wall without a stick. Mikula finds Verhaeghe. Now Bennett pushed off by Benoit. Marchand back on the ice for Florida. Taken up moments ago. Got by Verhaeghe. Glances off the post.
I think Bennett was the guy.
Tip straight down off the post.
Now Marchand controls. Here's Lundell. Scored the second Florida goal. Knocked aside by Wall. Luostarinen reached out for it. And the play is whistled dead.
So this puck here is going to drop in about 30 seconds, and we got to be right and ready.
All right, Paul Maurice does not believe in killer instinct, but thanks for the time.
But he does believe in winning Game 7's perfect 5-0 record as an NHL head coach in Game 7s. Rodriguez out to Mikula. About to 13-1 Panthers here in the second period.
Must be his friendship with Peter DeBoer, the terrific head coach of the Dallas Stars. I think he's 9, right? 9 for 9, I think, in Game 7.
9 for 9. They were junior hockey teammates.
Windsor, Ontario.
DeBoer 9-0, Maurice 5-0.
7 here tonight. The Leafs and the Panthers.
Eastern Conference Final will start in either Raleigh or here in Toronto. Oh, shot by Verhaeghe, blocked. Looked like it went off Carlo.
I think it went off his backside, Kenny.
Panthers coming that close to making it 4-0.
What a pass by Tkachuk to set up Verhaeghe.
Now Bobrovsky finds Forsling. Here's Bennett. 7 minutes on the clock, second period. Held up by Riley. Now Verhaeghe. Down to Schmidt. Got by Schmidt, turned aside by Wall. Bennett forced out. Here's Riley into the Panthers zone. And Bobrovsky will hang on to that attempt.
I guess you could say that's a butt save there, Boosh.
Yeah, you can.
New hockey term.
We've seen the butt fumble, right?
Right.
Now we got the butt save by Carlo.
Got by Riley, misses the net. McMahon with the puck for the Leafs. Domi, cross ice, Riley. Back out, Ekman Larsson blocked by Lundell. Riley sends in behind the net. Domi racing in. Now it's Holmberg. Got by McCabe, was blocked. Puck comes out of the zone.
I think that might have went off of Ekman Larsson.
Here's McCabe. Backhands the puck around. Now Mikula. Held up by Nylander. Luostarinen and Domi in as well. Seth Jones over for the Panthers. Jones opened the scoring and then assisted on the third Florida goal. Great job by Jackie, as always, with both head coaches. This is the first ever Game 7 in which both head coaches have previously won a Game 7 in a Stanley Cup final. Maurice last year, and Berube in 2019 with St. Louis. Front row behind the bench, Justin Bieber and wife Haley. Disappointing period for the home crowd as the Florida Panthers have scored 3 times. Rodriguez lined up by Ekman Larsson. Marner comes in. Marner on the ice with Matthews and Pacioretty out on this shift. A nice visual spot.
Looking for a different look. Just looking for any kind of a spark, any line. Chopped in this period 14-2. Chances 8-0 for Florida. Faceoffs 12 out of 13.
Here's Seth Jones. Score! But it's waved off. It is waved off by Garrett Rank.
What could Jones do in this situation? It's taken down.
So the goal waved off. It remains 3-0 Florida. Under 5 to play, second period. Nylander met by Tkachuk. Now McCabe over to play the puck. Held in by Verhaeghe. Now Bennett. Nylander flips the puck ahead. Knocked down by Forsling. Here comes Matthew Tkachuk. Puts on the brakes. Back out for Ekblad. Turned aside by Woll. Now Forsling with a drive. That's blocked by Yarncroke. Tkachuk with the puck for Florida.
No stick, Yarncroke.
Nylander couldn't clear. Here's Ekblad. Walks it across. Finds Forsling. Now Forsling with it again. Here's Ekblad. Cutting wide on Nylander. Now Verhaeghe. Forsling. Wide shoot. Saved by Woll. Marchand in behind the net. Now McCabe over to play the puck. Yarncroke still without a stick. Luostarinen.
That's an absolute clinic right now by the defending Stanley Cup champions.
And listen to this crowd starting to turn on their home team. Not a good feeling if you're a Maple Leaf player.
There's Schmidt, blocked by Nylander.
There's Marchand again winning another race.
Marchand stopped by Woll.
And especially when Florida's rolling their lines over, getting fresh players on the ice. That's how those shifts can get extended.
Puck held in by Rodriguez. Sent behind the net by Reinhart.
The second period, I mean, usually it's in that the average shift length at even strength, somewhere in that 30.
Not a comfortable situation when your own fans start booing you. Start to do things individually. Get out of your team concept. They've got to find a way to stop the bleeding here and get going in the other direction.
Now you got Domi out here now with Matthews and Marner.
The shots in the second period as Marner clears the puck out. 17-3 in favor of the Panthers. Matthews, now Marner. Marner maintains control of the puck. And now the Panthers will come out with it. Here's Tkachuk. 2:40 to go in period 2. Talked about the fans turning here in the second period. This core group. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Riley, all 0-5 in Game 7s. Trailing tonight 3-0. Matthews and Marner without a goal in a Game 7. Now Kulikov and Pacioretty. McMahon knocks the puck down. Marchand over for the Panthers. Marchand, as we mentioned earlier, his 5th Game 7 against the Leafs. Prior 4 with the Bruins, and he was on the winning side on all 4 occasions.
It's been absolutely unbelievable. Especially in the second period, he has won every race for a puck, a loose puck, in the offensive zone and kept plays alive. I mean, just relentless.
Jackie talked about Marchand on the pregame. Spoke with him this morning, how much he enjoys playing in this atmosphere in Toronto against the Leafs. Here's Holmberg. Sent it wide. Barkov and Nyes. And the Panthers move the puck out. Ekman Larsson back up the middle.
Nice play, Forsling.
Even Ekblad up, right up on that, on the Maple Leaf forward, forces the dump. I mean, they've been so aggressive.
Remember, the 2 Game 7s in these playoffs, Colorado, Dallas, and Winnipeg, St. Louis in the first round, we saw comebacks from 2 goals down in the third period in both of those games. Panthers have a 3-goal lead here tonight, and Florida has iced the puck. McDonough is the only active player who has won 8 Game 7s in his career. Marchand looking to match that here tonight. Now Ekman Larsson up the boards. Domi chips it out of the zone. The Panthers with 3 goals in 6.5 minutes in this second period. Save made by Bobrovsky on McCabe. Ekman Larsson and Luostarinen. Puck held in by the Panthers with 20 seconds.
Another battle won there by Marchand as he just jumped on the ice.
There's Tannen down to 10. So the Florida Panthers, with goals from Jones, Lundell, and Gadjovich, will head to the locker room with a 3-0 lead as the boos come raining down here at Scotiabank Arena. So congratulations to the Browns. Can't wait to have Kevin back for the Stanley Cup Final.
He'll be well rested.
Yes, he will.
We hope.
Might not get much sleep before then. All right, third period underway with the Panthers leading 3-0. Rodriguez moves the puck back around. Mikkola waiting. 75 shot attempts for Florida over the first 2 periods. That's the most by any team this season through 2 periods, regular season or playoff. Chris Rooney, we hear, doing well. The eye is fine. Stitches, as Jackie mentioned. Terrific job by the Maple Leafs doctors here at Scotiabank Arena. 3-0 Florida, with Carolina awaiting the winner. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final on TNT Tuesday night. Puck up into the netting with...
And for Toronto, you got to find a way to get some momentum here. And we've seen a lot of different line combinations for Greg Berube, and this one here, he's got Tavares, Matthews, and Marner.
Bobrovsky handles the puck, moves it up the boards. Bobrovsky will cover.
Guys talked about it in the studio. It presented itself once again, and Toronto just not able to respond in a timely fashion. Let's see, they've got a lot of time here, just over 18 minutes. Have the puck, drive the net, try and force Florida to defend. If you can do that, perhaps you get on the man advantage, you can tilt the ice a bit.
Maple Leafs with a 2-0 victory in Game 6. Stave off elimination, send the series back home north of the border. Scoreless first period tonight. And then the Panthers with 3 goals in just under 6.5 minutes in the middle period.
For Toronto, you're just trying to get one.
Got by Carlo, blocked by Reinhart. Now the lead pass for Domi. Domi shoots, score! Max Domi puts the Maple Leafs on the board. With his dad Ty in the building.
That caused a problem for Bobrovsky. But then he just slid it right under that right pad, and the Leafs get the most important goal for them in this game to get the crowd back into it and give them some belief. At some point here. I mean, anything goes.
I agree, anything goes. I haven't noticed Marner much at all here tonight, aside from him barking at his teammates during one of the TV timeouts. I mean, really not much going on for him. I wouldn't be opposed to it either, Edzo.
Could this be his final game as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs? Unrestricted free agent Mitch Marner. Score! Marchand, the shot deflected in by Luostarinen. It is now 4-1 Florida. The Panthers answer just 47 seconds after the Domi goal.
Well, there's Marchand again. just gets his puck into an area. The goal scorer gets support from Lundell, and then a simple play from Marchand. Luostarinen just goes to the net. And this is where you just got to have soft hands. You're opening up the stick blade to get a little bit of elevation. And it's just a subtle little touch to just bypass Wool, who goes down. But the shoot in by Marchand, or the area pass by Marchand, Luostarinen in a corner, support by Lundell, and then a simple play by Marchand.
Second point for Marchand. Second point for Luostarinen. That quiets the crowd here in Toronto.
And a needed one by Florida.
Following the Max Domi goal, which cut the Panthers' lead to 2. Under 17 minutes remaining in regulation. McCabe back behind the net. Tanev. Watt couldn't clear. Shot by Rodriguez blocked. The Florida Panthers, who have been to the Stanley Cup final each of the last 2 years, won it in 7 over Edmonton last June.
He didn't do that, and he tried to seal up as tight as possible, but just a little bit of daylight on the short side, one that you got to come up with. I mean, it's a back-breaking goal to give up after you get that 3-1 goal. Let's see if the Leafs have some more fight in them.
There's Ekman Larsson. Deflected in by Matthews. Puck out of play.
And then our friends at ESPN will have Game 1. The Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars in Big D on Wednesday night.
Carolina and Florida met in the conference final 2 years ago. Panthers swept that series. There's Riley down low, and the backhand shot by Nylander blocked.
Lundell with the block.
Morgan Riley back in his own zone. Off the stick of Nylander, played by Marchand, who has 2 assists here tonight. No sec. Stopped by Wool.
Tender willing to make saves like that.
Games 5 and 7 in this building. Panthers have outscored the Maple Leafs 10-2. 6-1 victory in Game 5. And they lead 4-1 here tonight. Kulikov works the puck back onto the stick of Schmidt. Dodger 27-14 Florida. They lead 4-1. Now it's McCabe. Maple Leafs won the first 2 games of this series. Panthers have never come back to win a series after falling behind 0-2.
Well, let's not forget they had a 3-1 lead in Game 3.
They did. Lost in overtime. If the Maple Leafs score in that overtime, they have a 3-0 series lead. Now Tanev for Tavares. Rowski scoops it up. Domi on the draw with Reinhart. Max Domi has the only Maple Leafs goal. Puck flipped down by Barkov and retrieved by Ekman Larsson. Held it past McMahon. Now Forsling back on it for Florida. He's met by Domi. Bennett chasing with Ekman Larsson. Around to the near side for Ekblad. Centering pass, Tkachuk couldn't get it through.
Tkachuk made a really good play. He allowed that puck to go all the way around the roulette wheel. All the way to Aaron Ekblad, and then he almost gets a quality chance off the beautiful play from Bennett below the goal line. The hockey smarts and that IQ of Matthew Tkachuk.
Puck held in by Kulikov, a drive. Held on to by Wool.
Marner got a stick up around Tkachuk as he was going to the blue paint.
Someone yells, "Go Leafs, go" at me. It kind of gets me fired up. He said, you know, it gets me engaged in the game. And I think, for the most part, that's led to a lot of success for me in some of these games.
An incredible 5th Game 7 against the Leafs for Marchand. He now has 5 points in Game 7s against Toronto. 2 here tonight. His Bruins won the previous 4, all on home ice. Under 13 minutes remaining. Tavares knocked to the ice. Reinhart and Nylander, and now it is Riley. Jake McCabe hits the red line. Then to the right of Bobrovsky. Forsling and Nylander. Now Tavares comes in. Core of this Florida Panthers team with so much postseason experience over the last several seasons. This is the 303rd game the Panthers are playing, regular season and playoffs, over the last 3 years, and that's just 6 shy of an all-time NHL record during the 3-year span. Now Pacioretty into the Florida zone. Back to the ice, play continues. Carlo with the puck for Toronto. Now Benoit. I know you talked about the urgency and some of the line changes, but with under 12 minutes left, what's going through the mind of Craig Berube right now?
Oh, you got to start taking some chances. There's no doubt. Whether it's a defenseman jumping into the play, just hanging around the net area offensively, jumping in, whatever it is, get it to 2.
Puck play by Tkachuk, he clears. Now Lorentz getting it back to Carlo.
Lorentz had that breakaway back at 0-0 back into the first period, and unfortunately shot it right into the breadbasket of his former teammate in Florida.
There's Nylander for McMahon. Now to Riley. Morgan Riley with a shot. Puck loose and cleared by the Panthers. Greer with Riley hustling back. Poked off his stick. Domi over to play the puck. Now McMahon, who has gone 23 games without a goal.
Actually, he's played pretty good the last couple of games. I thought he was very good in Game 6 in Florida. He's had himself an effective game here.
Does have an assist tonight.
Individually in this game. Away with one a little bit earlier. There's Rodriguez with the stick into the shoulder. And Reinhart just scores. Reinhart just put the puck into the back of the net off the face-off.
That makes it 5-1 Florida with 10:36 remaining. Right off the draw, Reinhart beats Wall.
On that right-hand shot, lines up on the offside. He can skate right into a face-off win, and Reinhart just does a great job of getting it through the traffic that's in front. Cole never saw it. Here's Reinhart on the wall on his off wing, face-off win. You can just kind of skate right into it, and you're in a prime shooting area in the middle of the ice. And if it can get through the traffic, you've got a pretty good chance of getting it past the goaltender, who has no chance to find it.
There was a screen too there by McCabe, defenseman for Toronto.
Now the booze coming down once again from the fans here at Scotiabank Arena, as the hometown Maple Leafs trail the Panthers 5-1. We talked about all the games the Panthers have played the last 3 years. For Reinhart, this is his 300th. That's the most among current Florida Panthers. And he has himself a goal.
Now you got some idiots throwing sweaters and hats onto the ice. That is absolutely dangerous. Not only for the players on both sides, but also the officials. They should grab that fan and wheel him down under the stands and have a talking to him. Manager Bill Zito in between the second and third period. I kind of got that same feeling, Boosh. Give a free opportunity to the Leafs there, and the momentum goes the other way. And his team came right back out. I mean, they came right back out and had a couple of really good shifts.
And it's worth noting, Edzo, the only penalty called in this game was too many men on the ice. So the officials have let them play, and maybe that one, if the challenge goes the other way, right, you give them a power play, and that could be the one thing that could get them going. So perhaps a good non-challenge for Paul Maurice.
Seth Jones acquired by Bill Zito and the Panthers in early March from the Chicago Blackhawks. He's playing in his first career Game 7. A goal and an assist. Domi chasing after the puck with Mikkola. They cancel one another out as we approach 9 minutes remaining. Panthers with a 5-1 advantage.
That's Bill Zito and his staff. They've done an unbelievable job here the last couple of years, but let's not forget the job that the prior general manager, Dale Talon, did in the draft and acquiring some players and kind of setting them up. And it's kind of the same exact situation for Dale Talon that he did in Chicago back prior to 2010. When the Blackhawks eventually won 3 cups in 5 years. He was the general manager right before the change, and then Stan Bowman, now the GM in Edmonton, took over the reins. So he has his fingerprints all over what happened in Chicago back prior to 2010, and then 3 years ago prior, and in charge in Florida and helping put things together in Sunrise and Florida Panthers trying to get back to the Stanley Cup final again.
On the verge of their 3rd straight trip to the conference final. They've been to the Cup final each of the last 2 years. Lost to Vegas in 5, beat Edmonton in 7. Here's Tavares, looks to put a move on Schmidt. Puck sent back around by McCabe for Pacioretty. Now Tavares. Back to the ice by Schmidt. Nosek plays the puck.
Just after a tough start for the Leafs early in period 1. After the 10-minute mark, they found their game. They had a couple of good chances. They just weren't able to capitalize. And then the second period was just all Florida. And the guy that has the puck, I think, was the guy that was the igniter. Red Marchand just all over it. And won every race for loose pucks anytime he was on the ice.
Panthers lost several key players after winning the Cup last year. Stefan Lorenz turned aside by Bobrovsky, but the acquisition of Jones prior to the trade deadline, Marchand coming over from Boston, some key additions. Panthers eliminated the Maple Leafs in the 2nd round 2 seasons ago.
Have ownership like you do in Florida with Vinny and Teresa Viola. Expect one thing. Congratulations to them. They're very much in the horse racing business. They're a horse that they co-own. A horse called Sandman ran 3rd yesterday in the Preakness Stakes in Baltimore, Maryland. So congratulations to Team Viola and the rest of the ownership group, including West Point Thoroughbreds for the 3rd place finish. Finishing behind Journalism. Won the Preakness yesterday.
And now, a day later, what a night for their Florida Panthers. 3 goals in the 2nd period. Looking to close out Game 7 on the road. And as far as the Maple Leafs are concerned, Marner on the ice here. We mentioned he will be an unrestricted free agent.
I still can't believe he's an unrestricted free agent at his age. He 27, Kenny? Austin Matthews was an unrestricted free agent a year plus ago, and he re-signed.
And Marner 28. Turned 28 earlier this month. There's Ekman Larson. Back out for McCabe. His shot gets blocked. Now Domi for McMahon.
You don't get many 100-point scorers that become unrestricted free agents. And they're 27 turning 28.
Go. Down to the final 5 minutes. Maple Leafs had a 2-0 lead in this series. Game 3 went to overtime. Marchand, the hero, with the OTGWG, as Eddie likes to say. In Game 3, Marchand with 2 points tonight. As he is 4.5 minutes away from his 5th Game 7 win in 5.
They're looking to get roll out if this puck gets in deep, though. So.
There he goes. Wall to the bench. Extra skater on for the Maple Leafs. Mikkola pitting the puck. Now Rodriguez. Riley with a shot. Knocked aside by Bobrovsky. Reinhart flips it ahead. Now Matthews. Pass to Tavares. Nylander off his stick. Domi keeps it alive. Down to 4 minutes on the clock. 3rd period. 6 skaters on the ice for the Maple Leafs. They trail the Panthers by 4. Now Marner. Pass Domi. Mikkola fires it up the boards to Rodriguez. Rodriguez held up by Riley. Both teams make changes. Down to 3.5 remaining. There's McMahon. Followed up with Ekblad. Forsling jumps on the loose puck. Marner back in his own zone. Now Pacioretty shoots in. Luostarinen and Jarnkrok. Pacioretty sends the puck back out. Ekman Larsson pokes at it. Now it's Marchand. Sends it down into the empty net. An exclamation point off the stick of Marchand. His 3rd point tonight, as he will go 5-0 in Game 7s against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Luostarinen with a beautiful pass along the boards, under some pressure, knows where the outlet was. The reaction from Mitch Marner on that Leafs bench.
This will be the Leafs' 7th straight Game 7 loss, and that will tie the all-time NHL record. Colorado Avalanche lost their 7th in a row earlier in these playoffs, shot by Benoit.
I asked Paul Maurice if we're at that level, and he kind of said no. I mean, like, it's not quite that moment, but when you have the experience and you've gone through something like that, you can understand why this team was able to crank it into another gear here in Game 7. And this was a much more urgent, desperate effort from Paul Maurice's group from the minute the puck dropped at the start. Aside from perhaps 10 minutes at the end of the 1st period, Florida has been exceptional in this Game 7.
Got to look at Brendan Shanahan, the Maple Leafs president. A moment ago, his team trailing 6-1.
Well, much was talked about here in Toronto about winning the division. And they were able to accomplish that. It pretty much was to avoid Tampa and Florida in the 1st round. And they did that. Florida took care of business against the Lightning.
Puck glove by Bobrovsky. Maple Leafs finished 2nd in the East during the regular season, 4th overall. Defeated Ottawa in round 1. Had the 2-0 lead in this series. But their season is going to come to an end. Another disappointment on home ice in a Game 7.
And hard to imagine that this core of 4 is going to stay together going forward. Something has to change here in Toronto. You guys mentioned Marner is an unrestricted free agent. I don't even know how they would be able to fit him in. I think we're looking at the last game as a Maple Leaf for Mitch Marner, in my opinion.
Well, I think if you do sign him, then you're going to have to move somebody else, Bush. I mean, that is the the possibility. I thought after the failures a couple of years ago that something big was going to happen, and it didn't. And look at Craig Berube did a heck of a job this year. They had themselves a heck of a regular season. Been a good playoff. Obviously disappointing when you have a Game 7 at home to get to the conference finals and you don't win. I mean, what do they do with Tavares? That's another unrestricted free agent. So lots of questions to be answered, but right now it's all about the defending Stanley Cup champs, who will take on Rod Brindamore and the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Final in Raleigh, starting Tuesday night right here on TNT.
Bruce talking about Marner and that core group. Marner, Matthews, Nylander, and Riley will drop to 0-6 in Game 7s. The Florida Panthers on the road get it done in Game 5 and Game 7 by identical scores, sending the Maple Leafs to their worst ever home loss in a Game 7. Paul Maurice now 6-0 in Game 7s as the Florida Panthers move on, advance to the Eastern Conference Final for the third consecutive year for the Handshakes. There's Austin Matthews, the Leafs captain. Long-time teammates.
Yeah,
Boston.
Marchand.
Brad Marchand, 5-0 in Game 7s against the Leafs. Incredible.
Sam Bennett and Anthony Stolarz having a big hug.
Stolarz, Bobrovsky's backup last season.
And remember, Bennett was the one that collided with Stolarz and helped put him out of the rest of this series. Again, he did take a shot to the head a little bit earlier, so I think a lot of different circumstances led to him getting sick on the bench and then not being able to finish and then not playing, but great to see him at least back up in this Game 7. Sam Bennett acknowledging his former teammate, as you mentioned, Kenny.
Stolarz, Ekman Larson, and Lorentz, all members of the Panthers last year when they won the Stanley Cup. Sergei Bobrovsky joins an exclusive list, the Game 7 win 3 consecutive seasons. Bernie Perrant, Andy Moog, our colleague Henrik Lundqvist, Jake Ottinger, and Bobrovsky, and there he is with his former backup, former teammate, Anthony Stolarz. More boos from the home crowd here in Toronto, as the Maple Leafs remain on the ice to salute the crowd. Florida Panthers advance.